I'm writing this because I can't sleep. And because the version of myself that existed before this happened feels like someone else entirely. I used to believe that your past only mattered if you let it define you. That who you were before a relationship didn't really matter as long as you were loyal during it. I was wrong. My fiancé and I were together for 4 years, engaged for 1, wedding planned, deposits paid, invitations sent, dress fitted, guest list finalized, seating chart done. The whole thing. He was kind in the quietest way. Not flashy. Not dramatic. Just steady. The kind of man who shows up when he says he will. The kind of man who remembers things without being reminded. The kind of man who builds a life instead of chasing excitement. I loved him. I really did. But I also carried this secret fear that if he knew who I used to be, he would look at me differently. Before him, my life was chaotic. Partying, hookups, attention chasing, validation seeking. I don't say that proudly. It's just the truth. I wasn't evil. I wasn't cruel. I just didn't value myself very much, and I filled that hole with male attention. When we started dating, I didn't lie outright. But I didn't tell the full truth either. He asked about my past early on. I gave him a softened version. A few relationships, some dating. Nothing serious. He didn't press. He trusted me, and I let him. Over time, I convinced myself it didn't matter. That who I was before him had nothing to do with who I was with him. That my loyalty, my commitment, my love now was what counted. We built a life. Moved in together. Adopted a dog. Talked about kids. Bought furniture together. Made plans, shared routines. Became that boring, beautiful kind of stable couple everyone assumes will last forever. When he proposed, I cried real tears. Happy tears. Grateful tears. Relieved tears. I thought my life had finally become something clean and stable and safe. But the past doesn't disappear just because you stop looking at it. The cracks started when one of my old friends re-entered my life. Not an ex. Just someone who knew the old version of me. The version I had buried. The version my fiancé had never met. She didn't mean to cause harm. She just didn't realize what I had hidden. We were at a group dinner. My fiancé was there. Drinks were flowing, stories were being told. Laughing. Nostalgia. Harmless at first. Then she made a joke. Something about your wild phase and all those guys and how much you'd changed. It was said casually, lightly, like a harmless memory. But I felt my stomach drop. My fiancé didn't react immediately. He just looked at me. Not angry, not suspicious, just confused. Later that night, he asked, "What did she mean by that?" I laughed it off, minimized it. Just stupid old jokes. College stuff. You know how people exaggerate. He didn't push, but something shifted. A few days later, he asked again. More directly, calmly, gently. "How many people have you actually been with?" This time, I hesitated. And that hesitation told him everything. I tried to control the damage. I admitted it was more than I'd said before. But I still minimized, still softened, still framed it in ways that made it sound less significant. He listened. Quietly. No yelling, no accusations, no insults. Just silence. The next week, he asked to talk again. Said he had questions. Real questions. And then I found out what had happened. He had reached out to someone from my past. Someone he'd found through social media. Someone who knew me before him. Someone who had no loyalty to me. No reason to protect me. And no understanding of the life I had built. They told him everything. Not with cruelty, just with honesty. They didn't exaggerate. They didn't dramatize. They just described the version of me I had tried to erase. When he confronted me, I knew immediately. His eyes looked different. Like the man I loved was still there, but the way he saw me had changed permanently. He didn't yell. That almost made it worse. He just said, "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" I didn't have a good answer, because the real answer was, I was afraid he wouldn't love me if he knew. And now he didn't. The wedding was 3 months away. 3 months. Everything collapsed in slow motion. He didn't cancel immediately. At first, he said he needed time, space, clarity. He moved into the guest room. The house felt cold, quiet, heavy. We stopped touching, stopped joking, stopped being us. Every conversation felt fragile, like one wrong sentence would shatter whatever was left. Finally, one night, he sat across from me at the kitchen table and said the words I still hear in my dreams. I can't marry you. Not I don't love you. Not I hate you. Just, I can't marry you. He said trust isn't just about cheating. It's about honesty, transparency, feeling safe with the person you're building a life with. He said he felt like he didn't actually know me. The wedding was canceled. Explaining that to people was a nightmare. Friends, family, coworkers, vendors, parents. Everyone asking questions I couldn't answer honestly without destroying my reputation. So I let the story become vague. We realized we weren't ready. We needed different things. It just didn't feel right anymore. But people always assume. And they assumed it was me. They weren't wrong. The aftermath was worse than the breakup. He moved on quietly. No drama, no public mess, no social media chaos, no bitterness. He focused on himself. He got in shape. Not in a flashy way, in a calm, disciplined way. Therapy, gym, new hobbies, new routines, new friends. He started glowing in that peaceful way people do when they finally feel aligned with their life. I stayed stuck. Dating felt impossible. I compared everyone to him. Stability felt boring. Excitement felt empty. Nothing felt right. Then he started dating someone new. Not immediately, but steadily. And she was everything I wasn't. Calm, soft-spoken, grounded, warm, secure. No chaos energy, no validation addiction, no attention-seeking. She fit into his life instead of disrupting it. Seeing them together broke something in me. Not because I wanted him back, but because I realized what I had lost wasn't just him. It was the life we were building. The version of myself I could have become with him. The future that no longer existed. He didn't win because he replaced me. He won because he healed. He built a better life without needing revenge, bitterness, or validation. And I stayed trapped in regret. The cruelest part is this. I didn't lose him because of who I was in the past. I lost him because I lied about it. I tried to control the narrative instead of trusting him with the truth. I decided what he could and couldn't handle instead of letting him choose. And in doing that, I proved I wasn't ready for the kind of relationship I claimed I wanted. If you're hiding parts of yourself from someone you love, thinking it doesn't matter, it does. Not because of the past itself, but because love built on half-truths isn't safe. Sometimes the worst consequence isn't losing the person. It's watching them become happier without you.